Hello again, this is the Animorphs channel, and we're going to discuss what I believe the plot is going to be for the upcoming Animorphs movie. Before we go ahead, I'm trying out a new microphone. It's one of these little lapel microphones, so audio quality might be questionable. Hopefully it's good. Let's carry on. So, first off, I think the plot from the Animorphs movie will be very much based around the first two books, maybe with some elements of 3 and 4. I don't think we're going to get anything past book 4 at all. In fact, I'm pretty certain we won't. Likelihood is it will be largely from book 1. But I also think book 2 is going to play a big role in it. So, this is how I personally think the plot line is going to go bit by bit. Or how I think it should go. It's sort of a mix between the two. We start off with character development. Now, in the TV series and the books, we started in the mall with Jake and Marco together. They grouped up with Cassie and Rachel, and in the books, Tobias was there. In the TV series, he appeared at the construction site, but in my personal opinion, we go before that. The thing that you do in movies sometimes is you have to establish characters. Even if it's just in a very, I was about to say subversive, but that's probably not the right word, in a subtle way. So as we're doing the opening credits for this movie, I think what we probably will see, or something along these lines, is each character going through their day in the lead up to being at the mall, grouping up and heading off to the construction site as a group. So I've written down some notes here on what I think will make some good opening character introduction pieces. So it would be a montage chopping and changing of the day leading up to them meeting Elfangor. Jake will be at basketball trials, doing the whole basketball thing, whatever they do. It's a crap sport, it's American. Only Americans can come up with such crap sports. And he's failing at basketball. Like in the books, he says, "Oh, I didn't make the team." We actually see him not making the team, struggling to have an impact, to do anything good. Maybe we see his brother there looking onwards. Although in the books, technically, he doesn't know until Jake tells him. But I think you should have Tom seeing him almost like we're introduced to Jake, and he looks up to his brother, who is almost like iconic in this high school basketball thing. So that would be instant character for Jake, seeing how he reacts to his brother seeing him fail on the basketball court, and showing that they are quite closely tied. At least they were. Right, well, if I put Rachel at ballet practice, I'm pretty sure it's ballet she does, I think it is, yeah. What I think would probably be good for Rachel is to see her going through this gymnast bit, you know, going on one of those long bloody planks they walk on and do the bloody whatever it is gymnasts do, and doing it quite well, but then sort of tripping up at the end and then lashing out, you know, giving it a bloody kick or a wallop. And that will show that Rachel is athletic and graceful and beautiful, but that she also has her violent streak and a propensity towards it. Moving on. Cassie. Now, this could be a fun one, because as we all know, Cassie can be somewhat hypocritical, two-faced, double standards, whatever. And we could put this across. She's in a classroom, and she's giving a wonderful presentation on the benefits of environmental protection. I think I've put in my notes something against carbon pollution and how the influx of carbon into the atmosphere is a problem. And then, as we go through the montage towards the end, she walks out the school, tra-la-la-la-la, and then gets into a big gas-guzzling pickup truck and is driven away. Which would set in mind perfectly what Cassie's character is all about. Oh, principle this, morality that. And then she goes and gets into a bloody pickup truck and gas guzzling bloody thing. I think that would suit Cassie to the ground. I like Cassie, don't get me wrong, but she is that character who's all moral and I'm such a good person, but then they do bad things at the same time. It's a perfectly reasonable character type, really. And we all have a bit of that in us, but it would be good to really push that in this opening montage. Marco, he leaves for school in the morning with his dad on the sofa. Basically, I've put in my notes, wasting away. And Marco goes out the door looking glum and miserable, and then we see him at school laughing and joking and making fun of things, maybe somebody else. Making it obvious that he's got these coping mechanisms. And I couldn't really think of anything else to put there for Marco. Tobias, we would see him, I think it's his uncle he lives with, or is his auntie. They both live at opposite sides of the country. He wakes up, goes about getting breakfast and sorting his school stuff out, and then walks out the front door and doesn't have a word with his uncle, who's constantly in the background, just completely ignoring him. Gets to school and is immediately set upon by bullies. That is my idea for an opening montage before we get to the mall. They all leave school, Cassie from a bloody pickup truck, Jake with his basketball, which I don't know, he throws in the rubbish bin, or trash bag, as you American calls it. Trash can. And they all go to the mall after having a normal day for them. And then things become less normal. That's when we play... I don't need to go into much detail. Go read the first half of number 1, The Invasion, because that's what I think is coming next. We'll get the first half from Elfangor through to them acquiring their first morphs. So they acquire their morphs. What happened in the book was that then they went and discovered where they went to the sharing, and then they went down to the oak pool. Now this is where I think we shoehorn book 2 into this. Throughout this, we need to see Rachel interacting with Melissa, the Melissa character, and seeing how she's not doing too well. I think actually book 2 would fit very neatly in the middle of book 1, because it's lower stakes at the end of the day. They're not going to the Yerk pool for this big battle. It's something smaller. And it's something more personal, like the interaction with Tom and the Melissa thing. And we could have 2 characters going through that at roughly the same time, almost like splitting between them. To give an impression that anyone can be affected. And not just one or two people, but a large proportion of people. 2 out of the 5 characters. We'll quickly find out, damn, things are looking rather pickly at the moment. So we go through the entire the sort of a compressed book 2 thing, where they find Chapman, they go into his basement, they see Visser 3, God, I've got bloody dust everywhere. Visser 3 doing his Visser 3 thing, and they go to the construction site with Rachel in the cat box. Shut up, computer. Rachel in the cat box, and they go through all that. They get away from that. In the midst of all the book 2 stuff, and after this, they're exploring the sharing and following Tom around into the sharing meeting, and then they go into the Yerk pool and yada yada yada. That's what I think is going to happen in the movie. We're going to end with them coming out of the Yerk pool. What have I put? And that's when they all decide, right, we're in this now. Marco was a bit more unconvinced, but the general thing at the end of the movie is, hands into the middle, whoop-de-doo, save the world. One of the things that I think we could also put in there from the very start is Cassie and Tobias having these messages. In book 4 where they got the messages from Axe in their heads. Maybe just throw a few of them in here somewhere. You don't need to explain it in this movie. Just have the occasional hint that both of them are receiving these weird messages, which we can explore in a sequel or in a following series, whatever they decide to do, assuming they do something after this film. But that's where the book 4 stuff comes in. Book 3 was essentially just Tobias being a bit of a downer. I don't think that would fit here. That would have to go into a sequel. But that's my idea for how the Animorphs movie, at least the first one, is going to go down. Books 1 and 2 heavily prominent. Book 2 sort of shoot in between the first half and the second half of book 1. And I think that's a nice logical progression to the big climax at the end, where they go into the Yerk pool and they see all these people in Hork-Bajir cages, and it's all spooky, scary. And then people are left on the edge. What's the phrase I'm looking for? They want more, basically, because that's what we want. We want people wanting more. Anyway, that's my idea for the movie. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to tell me what you want in this movie, put it in the comments. And not only that, go check out my fan fiction, which are these books here. That's number 55, The Interrogation. Go get onto the Animorphs Discord. It's becoming more and more active, especially after this Animorphs movie news. So I think it would be rather smashing for you to come down to the Animorphs Discord and have a ruddy good natter with us. So this has been the Animorphs channel. My name is Thomas Heap, and I shall see you later. Goodbye.